Guys, this is Jatin, and for some of you who know me, I'm the founder of Pythagurus Education. And in this video series today, I wanted to analyze the ISB essays for you. We have a deadline coming up next month, and I know ISB has been a very, very promising school for many people who are looking at an educational environment in their home country with a very, very strong international exposure. And they have four essays. They have these four essays, and in these essays, there's one common thread. There's one common thread that talks about how badly do you need ISB. There's one common thread that talks about how much do you know about ISB, and what is it that will make you come and create that impact right from the very first day. If you look at the essay one, so when I will be analyzing these essays one by one, but if you look at the layout, essay number one and essay number two, they go together. So the essay number one says, if we were to admit just one more student, make a compelling argument as to why that should be you, and describe one accomplishment, one achievement in your life, personal or professional. They're giving you two options, and so one of those personal and professional accomplishments that you're most proud of, and what did you do that sets you apart from the others? What did you learn? Right. And if you look at the second essay that talks about, so the second essay gives you two options. Describe only one defining moment in your personal and professional life. Again, you have two different options. When you had to make a risky decision, explain what you did and what was the outcome and why. And the second option for the second essay says, describe only one situation in your personal and professional life, and you had to interact with people from diverse backgrounds, and how did it affect you, and what did you learn from there. So let's look at all the essays together. Let's look at specifically the essay one and essay two. One of my very important note for the applicants is that in both essay one and essay two, you have the opportunity to pick either a professional or a personal incident. And I know you have a strong desire to use your $1 million projects, your leadership incidents from your organizations, or the new initiatives that you may have taken, and throw it all over the essays. But specifically in the first two essays, I want you to consider making a choice, which is, if you end up picking a professional incident for the essay one, I want you to tell them about something else from the personal life in essay two, and vice versa. Like, if, for example, if you end up making a compelling argument in essay one by talking about one of your professional leadership accomplishments, then you have to bring up the risky situation in essay number two from your personal life. They have to get to know something else about another part of your life, which is away from your organization, away from your professional setup. So let's hypothetically assume that somebody made a choice to pick up a professional incident for essay number one, and they get started with that, hey, so I did this. I had a junk offering in my organization which nobody was concerned about. We had not even looked at it for the last 2 to 3 years, and I identified an opportunity to come and make a difference. I restructured the team, convinced my bosses, analyzed the market potential, led the entire project, and hypothetically we had a annual profit of $200,000 or $3 million or $30 million, depends on the size of the organization that you're working on, depends on if you're working for a startup, you'll probably have a smaller figure. If you're working for a bulge bracket investment bank, you'll probably have millions of dollars on your resume. So now, stating that you did something and you created an outcome is not sufficient for this essay. The essay clearly says that you have to make a compelling argument that if we were to admit just one more student, like we're done, we have a class full of people there, and whoever we wanted, all the masters of the universe are sitting inside the classroom. We have identified everybody, and we have one last call. We want somebody who thinks he can make a strong, very, very strong impact to all the masters of the universe sitting inside the classroom already. Tell us, why do you think that's you? Now, see the connect. You give them a situation in order to address that this is one last call for somebody who thinks he will add a very, very strong value to all the ninjas, all the guys who are sitting inside already, and we just have one more seat left. What is the connection? How will you showcase the transferable outcome or transferable value of the incident that you talked about to the intention of the essay question? So there is a very strong superlative in this essay, which is most, biggest, brightest, strongest. There's a very strong superlative in this essay which says you're the last guy who's to get in, tell us why. Now here's the thing, they don't care about what happened in the incident. They're not concerned about why did this thing, whatever you did, led to a certain outcome. What they're concerned about is, why is that important for you? Think about it. If I tell you that somebody in northern India, let's say, raised 5 crores or 10 crores to help 500 to 1,000 TB patients in northern part of the country, and you think, well, you know what, that's a pretty amazing deal, that's a big deal, somebody could have done it. But if I told you that this bullet that I just talked about is on the resume of Warren Buffett, then you'll think, hey, you know what, it doesn't matter, it's not even a big deal. So can you identify, the bullet in itself doesn't matter. Whatever I talked about, the content itself doesn't matter. It's about the context, it's about the background. It's about, why is that meaningful to you? It could be that that incident led you to create a certain belief for the future that you think is very important for the class. It could be that you, based on that event, based on that outcome of the project, or that one achievement, you realize that you are a brand new person now who is capable of doing so many other things as an ISB alumni. And or probably that incident talks about one of the most challenging weaknesses that you had, and you carried it for the last 15-20 years, and only because of this outcome you're realizing, you know what, you don't have that anymore. So whatever you bring, remember one thing, that it has to have a superlative, one, it has to have the value for the class, what is it that you will bring to the class, two, and it also has to address, why are you telling them this, why is this so meaningful to you, why is that so important to you, right? So in the other series of Interview Ninjas, the other videos of Interview Ninjas, which is due to launch, I think sometime in October, around October 20, 2015, we'll also have different videos coming up to address what are the different characteristics, what are the different traits for a leader, what are the different traits of somebody who's taking an initiative, what do you think is a potential weakness of somebody who's trying to create a claim in front of a B school that I had a victory over whatever I did in the past. So all those details will be addressed there, but for right now, address these 3 things in the common thread if you decide to take a professional situation here. Exactly same goes for a personal situation as well. And I think you will end up picking a personal situation in essay 1 when you are picking a professional situation in essay number 2, assuming that you will pick